Uh, what is your thoughts about colonizing Mars? I mean, they're talking about
Oh yeah.
sending some people up to Mars.
Well, there's some people I think a few of us would prefer would be sent to Mars, but I watched the movie The Martian with my two sons, and they needled me and said, "Dad, please stop telling us how often they're violating the laws of physics in this movie." But I was sharing with them, because they have Matt Damon doing this 20-mile hike across the surface of Mars. I says, he's got to walk with only 40% gravity. You can't walk like that with only 40% gravity. And I reminded my younger son, I said, remember we went to that space camp and we actually put on these little uniforms where they have a pulley system so you get to feel what 40% gravity is like? Do you remember how much of a hard time we had walking and how out of balance we were? Matt Damon can't do that. And also said, you know, when he built that little tent and was growing potatoes with Martian soil and a little bit of human excrement, I said, for that to be realistic, it's got to be 100% human excrement. And I don't think he can poop enough to grow enough potatoes to feed itself. So, and the whole point is Martian soil's got 60 times as much sulfur as Earth soil. So there's no way you can grow any kind of vascular plant on Mars. You're going to have to bring your own soil. And then I posted a blog several months ago where they basically discovered that once you get outside the Earth's magnetosphere, the radiation that you encounter will destroy your digestive tract in about 90 days. And it's going to take a minimum of 6 months to get to Mars. So if we try to send people to Mars, they may be alive by the time they get to Mars, but they will not be able to function. They're going to be in excruciating intestinal pain. And by the way, within a year, they'll be dead because of the cancers they'll get in their intestinal tract will kill them. But even after 90 days, they will not be able to function. So we know that from experiments we've done on mice and rats. So
effects on the heart as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it does a lot of damage. But the first thing you're going to notice is intestinal damage. Then it begins to affect your brain and your heart.
Going through neutrinos or just other types of radiation?
Well, the human body can handle the protons and the electrons that you encounter in interplanetary space. What it can't handle are the heavy nuclei cosmic rays. And they're the ones that do all the damage to your internal organs. And people say, well, how do we get to the moon? Well, notice that NASA carefully timed the Apollo missions. They timed them so that they got at least 50% of the time they were protected by the Van Allen belt. They picked a time when the moon was in a path where the the magnetosphere would actually include a part of the moon. So as long as you don't spend too many days on the moon, you can take advantage of that protection. And then we're only talking days, we're not talking months. So yeah, going back to the moon is an option, going to Mars is not.
So aside from the logistics issues of food and trying to keep them alive, they have to deal with the incredible radiation. They will just go right through a spacecraft.
Right. And you cannot build an artificial magnetosphere. I mean, we can't even make a magnetic bottle for controlled fusion, which is, really tiny. To build one for a whole spacecraft, it's not going to work.
For those who, I'm sure you know this, and I've read it before, like how many neutrinos right now are going through your body are billions, like right this second. What's the number? Do you remember?
Oh, it's way over quadrillions.
Right
But
now, currently.
Yeah. Well, neutrinos go right through the Earth without interacting typically. So yeah, the fact that you're being bombarded with quadrillions of neutrinos per second doesn't do you any, because they don't interact with anything inside you. They just go right through you. Occasionally one does, but very occasionally. Just like occasionally there'll be a proton that'll make contact with something inside your body. And all you got is one proton every 60 years, you're okay. One every 10 years, that's not okay.